Every day we're seeming to get more and more college football 26 content, man. The content creators kind of spilling the beans, talking a little bit about the game, what we could expect, also some things that they maybe not even supposed to mention yet. We're going to talk about it all in this video. If y'all do enjoy the content, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate 10,000 subscribers on the channel. In my first year on YouTube, we hit 10K. Insane. Appreciate all y'all boys, man. We're doing a subathon on release day, man, over on Twitch. So go follow me on Twitch. July 7th, when the game come out, we're doing a subathon on Twitch. Now, that being said, let's get into the actual video and go over some of this stuff that came out over the past couple of days about college football 26. So Bordeaux, he pretty much put out a tweet asking people to ask him questions about college football 26. And he answered what he could, man. Obviously, the content creators can't say everything about the game, but he did answer a few questions, and we're going to go over a few of these answers here, man. So this one stood out to me. The question pretty much, what changes or differences from your perspective is pretty much the best between last year and this year. And his response, the biggest changes for me isn't one specific thing. It's 50 smaller things combined that puts 26 far ahead of 25. I can't say much besides what has already been released, but there has been so many quality of life changes that gives the game a polished feel that we didn't have in 25. So I view that as two ways, man. That's obviously a positive. You want the game to just be a little bit more polished. The small details that we cover a couple times on this channel that over time gets a little bit frustrating, annoying, speed rushing outside linebacker. Talked about 1,000 times. It gets frustrating, you know, blocking tight end being the only tight end ever developed. Stuff like that gets frustrating. So it's good to see stuff like that being improved in the next game. But also with this tweet implies to me, the way I'm perceiving this tweet is almost there's not no overwhelming changes to this next game. It's just small quality of life stuff, 50 different things that's better, 50 different small things that's better instead of one big thing that's better, if that makes sense, man. And for me, it's like I just wanted recruiting to be massively better, and it was good, but I think it could go so much further. But like a tweet like this makes me believe they just slightly tweaked recruiting, you know, made the transfer portal a little bit more intense, you know, maybe made recruiting a tad bit harder. You know, just a bunch of small stuff, which, you know, it will make the game more enjoyable, but it also just makes me like, damn, I was hoping for like a big surprise or something. Obviously, we'll see when the deep dives drop in the next coming weeks. We'll talk about that also later in the video. But one small thing, then he also goes on to say this. Pretty much the question was, how is navigating the menus? Is it better than last year's game? Had an absolute blast in the menus on college football 26. Way better experience for sure. A blast in the menus is funny, man. But I mean, another quality of life improvement, man. I guess you're able to move around the menus a lot faster. In college football 25, I'm not gonna say it felt clunky, but it didn't feel amazing. You know, it didn't feel amazing maneuvering through the menus, whether it was going from recruiting screens or your prospect list, then over to your school prestige. It didn't feel horrible, but it definitely did not feel amazing. So small improvements like that should go a long way for this game. So Civ, who also went down there this past weekend to play the games early, he tweeted, what I think is really cool in college football 26 is the number of new plays and formations. I got to see firsthand last week some of the 2,700 plus new plays, and there's a lot of really cool, unique stuff, really high level and unusual stuff. Okay, whatever that means. Makes the game 10 times more fun. So apparently we might get some crazy plays, you know, maybe some trick plays. I remember when the game first came out, it was a very good trick play, flea flicker. I feel like I haven't seen that play ran outside the first week of release date. But no, apparently plays is going to be a lot better, a lot more playbooks. And also, I heard they even adding like Sacramento State head coach playbook. I forget his name, but I heard they're adding his playbook to the game. And that'll be interesting. We'll see, man. But stuff like that should be pretty cool to see. And next we have RBT, who typed a hefty paragraph on Twitter. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will summarize it for you guys. He pretty much goes on to say how he believes both games are improved. He also talked to the devs that made both games, and they are actually very motivated by bringing a better product. They generally want their game to be good. And also then he goes on to say how the devs care about the game more than we do. And then also even that we are going to be very happy with everything college football 26 and Madden 26 as, man. Promise both games will be better than they were last year. And I know I'm gonna get the comment. I know reading something like that, someone gonna comment, he's in, EA pockets. That's a sponsored tweet. We talked about it in other videos, man. Whether these guys are, obviously they have some type of sponsorship with EA. EA flew them out and, let them play the game early. But I believe they have open opinion to talk about the game how they want when it comes to negative, the good, bad, or ugly. One thing I will say, I have yet to see the ugly. I have yet to see anyone tweet really anything bad about college football 26 or Madden 26. So keep that in mind. If y'all believe these guys are in their pockets, that's your opinion to believe that. But like I said, I actually haven't really seen any bad tweets. They've all been pretty good. So Chris, I don't really recognize this guy, but I'm assuming he's some type of writer. I'm assuming he also played the game early. Yep, he did. He spent several hours playing the game early. He dropped his article, but it's behind a paywall, so I did not read the article. But he did hop on, whether it was live or whatever, and he dropped this gem, and it's gonna be interesting. Let's listen.
Got a lot of questions about positions in Road to Glory. Don't know how much I can say, but if you played it last year, you get the gist of what it is this year.
So without saying it, there's no new positions, is how I'm understanding that. He said pretty much he can't really say, but if you played it last year, you kind of getting the same thing this upcoming year. When it comes to positions, so we're only going to get what was it, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, I think on offense, and I think another 3 positions on defense, something like that. But they did say new archetypes, so I'm assuming they're just adding new archetypes to the whole game. So maybe we'll get 2 new quarterback archetypes, 2 new running back archetypes, whatever. I'm assuming that's coming. So, we just got the scrambler, the field general, and the improviser quarterback. It probably will be a 4th quarterback option or something like that. I did hear new archetypes coming to Road to Glory, but apparently maybe we get like 2-way stuff, or I don't know. But apparently the same exact positions. That's nasty work, because that's one thing the community definitely asked for. Obviously, he can't really say, but we all know what he was saying here, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on that. Also, the idea that Road to Glory High School might only be moments, I don't know if that's true, but that's the word on the block. It's only going to be moments for high school. I know a lot of people was upset about that. How y'all feel about that, man? Y'all Road to Glory guys. I don't really play it that much. I'll touch it this year to see what it's talking about, but I don't really play it. So Kurt, who has been, or everyone that went down there pretty much been getting called out on Twitter for being in EA pockets and not really pitting out real tweets or just pitting out sponsored tweets. And he goes on to say his final thoughts when it comes to Madden. And he said, when Madden is on BS, I will call it out, just like I always have. I got to play the games early, and for the first time in a long time, I absolutely loved everything about it. It doesn't mean that there won't be problems, but it made me feel like a kid again. Another tweet that's, talking very positive about Madden. And once we get the game, it got to be good. At this point, I'm expecting Madden to be the best Madden in 10 years, because the amount of good tweets I've seen about Madden, I feel I've seen more good tweets about Madden than I've seen about college football 25 or 26, man. So I don't know. Y'all let me know, man. Maybe my feed is just more centered toward Madden, even though I'm not a Madden player, but I don't know. Also, we get this tweet where it's pretty much just like a snow game, from this past year. And look at my guy, Saquon Barkley, man. Shout out to my Eagles winning the championship, and also my guy being on the cover, all that. But yeah, apparently, it looks pretty darn good. But then you got some guys, Bengal also, co-signing this. Whether and actual field graphic details on other Maddens was so much better. Hey, man. And then, like I said, Bengal is also co-signing this. Word on the block is college football 26 deep dives are likely to start next week, with, this current week just being all Madden stuff. And I believe the Madden trailer drops tomorrow. I believe the cover dropped, earlier. So I think, like I said, the trailer drops tomorrow. So I expect no deep dives this week. I wasn't expecting that anyway, man. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that anyway. If we come over here to EA, pretty much YouTube page, and we look from last year, let's look at the first deep dive they dropped, man. Come over here to their page. The first deep dive they actually dropped is going to be the official gameplay, or no, excuse me, the gameplay deep dive here. And we come over here to see what date it was dropped. It was dropped on May 30th. So we're already past that date. But obviously, they're also working behind because last year when we got the trailer way or like 2 weeks earlier than we got the trailer this year. So in that situation, you would think that we'll get the deep dive 2 weeks later, the first deep dive 2 weeks later than we did, last year. But also you consider that this year game come out like a week earlier. So I know it's a lot of weeks, a lot of, confusion. But that first deep dive dropped on, was that May 31st, something like that. The second deep dive took a little minute to drop again, almost a month later on June 23rd or 26th. So I have no idea when we're getting these deep dives. If I had to say, I wouldn't guess next week. I know the page just said we're probably going to get it next week. If I had to guess, I think we're going to get it in 2 weeks. And, we'll get a deep dive each week, up until the game come out, something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it next week, be honest with y'all. Field 2K got to play the game early, and some of his thoughts, apparently people thought the game felt slower than College Football 25, man. And we'll see when we actually get our hands on that thing. But apparently some people said the game felt slower. You got 84 new abilities and 10 new archetypes. Kind of already talked a little bit about that. Improved text visuals. Obviously, they're always going to improve like the visuals, whether it's, graphics, whatever. They're always going to try to make those improvements. Also, subs occurred in games. So just some small stuff here. And I've seen this tweet, and this is not really news, but I just want to get y'all opinion on this, man. I hate that they still prioritize Madden over College Football 25 or college football in general. I will almost give resistance to that, and they might be shifting over to college football 26, 25 as like the more focus for EA. I mean, the game did more numbers than Madden. If they do more numbers than Madden again this year, I don't know. The focus might go to college football going forward, man. We'll see. But then this guy goes on to say that the college football trailer came out first. Well, obviously, the game is coming out a month earlier than Madden. You expect the trailer to come out first. So I don't really understand this tweet, just being honest, because like I said, the actual game comes out a month before Madden. So of course we're gonna see, the trailer for college football come out earlier than the Madden trailer, as the game come out a month earlier. And last thing we'll talk about, this tweet from Civ. What's the number one way you want to get better gameplay wise in college football 26, man? I would say the number one thing for better gameplay, if I had to choose, I'll probably do blocking, man. Just run blocking and pass blocking. If that was massively improved, I think that leads to better gameplay. If you want to go with interceptions, I know a lot of people talk about way too many interceptions. The DB's insane. Just let me know y'all thoughts. I'm going to go with O-line play, man. I'm going to go with O-line play. But that's all I got for y'all boys, man. I appreciate y'all for 10K. I really do, man. Appreciate y'all boys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to the Twitch. We are doing a 24-hour subathon on July 7th once that game drops. So we're going to be lit, man. But we on to the next one. Appreciate y'all.